Do it today. Only have an hour, and a good portion of the entire state is listening today online. KTKZ.com. My emails are going crazy. Yes, Meg coming up here. Jim Bognet after 12:30. We'll talk with Jim, do the dance there. A lot to do today. I will get to your calls after Meg here before the bottom of the hour, so hang on the phone line. 888-923-1380 here in the Capital Hour with Eric Hogue on KTKZ. All right, Meg Whitman. I had a chance to talk with her. You'll listen what Meg has to say. I'll take your calls. We'll get the gym coming up. Keep it right here in the Capital Hour. Out of nowhere comes a press conference on Monday, and your opponent, Steve Poizner, is claiming that you and one of your campaign handlers are threatening him. Are you shocked at the allegations, Meg?
Well, I was, certainly surprised, and, but Steve needs to do what he needs to do, so.
Did you ever think it would be this way? I mean, a lot of folks say Meg Whitman, eBay fame and from the private sector entering a gubernatorial race like this. Did you ever think it would get to this type of level or this type of tone?
Well, politics is a rough and tumble game, and, I saw this. I obviously had a chance to work very closely with Mitt Romney on his campaign and with John McCain on his campaign. So I had a very good sense of what I was in for. I have to say, the press conference on Monday was, I think, very unusual even in the rough and tumble sport of politics. But, it is what it is, and I was pretty prepared for it. And I have to say, overall, I have really enjoyed running for governor. I mean, I have had the privilege of traveling this state, and, I often say every Californian should see California the way I have seen it. It is a remarkable state with incredible people.
A lot of folks, and we'll move off of this in a second, but it obviously is the hot news this week. A lot of folks are saying, well, did Meg Whitman put Mike Murphy up to this email? I mean, was it an edict from you to try to encourage Steve Poizner to get out of the race? Is that how it went down?
Well, of course not. I think everyone's trying to figure out how to have this election be a win for the Republicans and, try to do what is often done in politics, which is horse trading. So my view is, I didn't obviously ask him to do it. And, but what I think, what most people in California really want to focus on is the problems that we face. The inside baseball is not that interesting to regular voters who are, worried about their jobs. They're worried about companies moving out. I've heard more comments about Northrop Grumman leaving California than I have about, the little dust-up on Monday.
Are you ready to face a campaign both in the primary and the general election? It's going to be all about class warfare? Because people don't like it, Meg, that you're rich. I don't mean to tell you, something you've already known, but they don't like the fact that you've been successful in the private sector. You developed eBay and provided a widget service for people that help them make money, and that you have a lot of money that you're going to spend to win. Some have said upwards of $100 million both for the primary and the general. So you're going to be painted as a very rich lady, an elitist, and it's all going to be about class warfare. How do you message around that?
Well, I hope it won't be about that. I mean, I think in many ways, the success that I've had in California is the California dream. Everyone wants to be able to start a small business and grow a small business and make their life better. And what I want to talk to Californians about, and I think this will be what the election is about, is who is best suited to handle the economy? Who do they think can create the conditions for small businesses to grow and thrive? The government doesn't create business, doesn't create jobs. It is the government can create the conditions for small businessmen and women to start companies and to have the courage to hire people. So I think this election will actually be about jobs and the economy. And I think it will also be about spending. You've been doing this a long time, Eric. I mean, typically cutting government spending is not exactly a sexy political issue.
Right.
But when I am out talking to Californians, they are desperately worried about the fact that we are spending money we don't have. We aren't running the government efficiently and effectively. And while maybe we had the luxury of that several years ago, we don't have that luxury. And they're terribly worried about the debt that the state is carrying. We could end up with interest payments that are about 10% of the general fund revenues. And, again, debt isn't normally an issue that people get excited about, but this is a different election year. So I think this is going to be largely around economic issues and who they think can handle it the best.
The other charge is coming from your opponent, not much on issue right now. It's all about what you are doing or not doing, either by email or, in this case, not debating. You have set a debate for March 15th, I believe, with Steve Poizner. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And there's a charge stating that there was some type of agreement, and you can tell us all, to have a debate during the convention. Number one, is that true? And number two, why won't you debate during the Republican convention coming up just a few days ahead of that date?
Yeah. So I had not heard that there was a scheduled debate at the California Republican Party convention. In fact, I don't think there is one. I think this has been in some ways a a manufactured event. But in any case, we'd agreed quite some time ago that March 15th would be the date we would first debate. We've set that time. I wanted it to be after the filing deadline for all the candidates to be in the race. And then I'm sure we'll have a chance to debate after that as well. I felt that the best use of my time in 2009 and up until this point in 2010 was being out with voters, being in all parts of the state, meeting with groups of people, visiting small businesses, understanding agriculture, entertainment, aerospace, biotech. And that's what I thought was the best use of my time. So we've got a strategy, and we'll debate on March 15th. I'm looking forward to it.
I was going to say, are you looking forward to a debate? Have you ever had a debate before, Meg? And an inquisitive question on my behalf.